Jason Minix, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. We're live out at the Rue Pub, 281 in Redmond Road. Come hang out with us, get dinner, stick around, watch Monday Night Football tonight. 49ers and Rams should be a good game. Saturday in the Dome, the UTSA Roadrunners improved to 10-0 on the season, 6-0 in conference play. Let's talk about it with the head coach of the UTSA Roadrunners, Coach Jeff Traylor, joining us now, brought to you by Pinkerton's Barbecue. Coach, congratulations on the win. I heard you say after the game, media and fans might call it an ugly win, but coaches don't, because a win is a win, and they're all beautiful. But, boy, that one certainly wasn't as easy as all of us thought it was going to be.
No, they did a great job. They put one of the best players in the conference back there basically in the single wing and snapped the ball on one. And then they had about 11 penalties where the clock got to run 40 more seconds. They were basically getting 80 seconds run off per play. And then offensively, we didn't go out there and execute very well. If we could have got ever ahead by 2 scores, they wouldn't have been able to do that anymore, Jason. But we just weren't very clean offensively.
And you think about it, it's funny you bring up the wing T. I said to a friend of mine, I felt like I was watching a Phil Danaher coach team down in Cal Allen when he only might have had one guy that was talented and just run the ball, and run the clock.
No, you're exactly right. It was a very well-executed plan. They had a very good receiver at number 1. So if you went out there and doubled him, they had a +1 advantage on you in the running game because they were blocking with their tailback every time. It was just single-wing football. For no better explanation, that's really what it was.
Jeff Traylor joining us here on The Blitz. What does it say about your team to deal with the adversity for the first time in a long time, honestly? They come in favored by 30. Things aren't going well, and they kept it all together, ultimately got the win. So you got to win, but you got plenty on tape to clean up this week as a coach.
No doubt. I was very proud of how we kept our composure. No matter what we want to say, we could all have that. We could all deny we didn't feel it, but we all felt that lump in our throat, right? Like, oh my goodness, we just had a pick six, 17-10, and they're keeping the ball from us. And are we going to ever get out of our own way here? And I think that's going to benefit us Saturday because you know how those championship games are. They're tight and they're physical, and they're usually lower scoring, and it's usually defense that wins the game and guys that take care of the football. And I think that's going to help us Saturday.
Jeff Traylor joining us here on the Blitz course, UAB Saturday. We'll talk about that in a moment. Coach, I have to admit, I was wondering if you were going to put Josh in, pull Frank, because he just didn't seem to have it early, especially after the pick six. And knowing that last week you said, he might not be quite at 100%. As a coach, when you are going through having to make a decision, and you've got a player struggling, to not pull him and put somebody else in there, what is that process like, either mentally or the conversations you're having either with the player or your assistant coaches?
I'm just not very quick to do that. I don't know, and maybe my entire career, you'd have to check me on this stat. I don't think I've ever pulled my starting quarterback in 17 years. I think it's very important those guys know I've got their back at all times. I think it's a terrible way to live your life, looking over your shoulder. I think it's a very terrible way to live playing quarterback. I think other positions are more suitable to pull and rotate. That's just a spot in my career. I just don't think that guy can feel like his head coach does not have his back at all times.
And I would imagine, after the game or through the game, what are you saying to Frank to keep his confidence up, to keep, because we haven't seen him throw a couple picks like that in a while, but that touchdown pass to Watson late, and then of course the way he played the fourth quarter, at some point it did click in, which obviously I'm glad to hear you say, you don't pull your quarterback but those of us like me that were thinking it, he proved, hey man, you stuck with me and I paid it off for you with the W.
Well, think how many times he's done that since I've been here. I've made the comparison. He's like a snake. You can't kill him. And he's just so tough. He just always finds a way. And the objective of the quarterback is for his team to win the game. His team did win the game. He'll be the first one to tell you he did not play as well, but I'm his coach. And obviously we didn't do something very good for him during practice. Some of those throws, he was off balance. We didn't protect him very well. Sometimes our receivers' routes weren't as crisp. We dropped some balls for him as well. It wasn't like it was just all Frank. We had MAs up front, which we haven't done all year. We just weren't clean. And it starts with me, and obviously Coach Lunny and the quarterback. We're the ones that are going to get all the blame for it, but we got to be cleaner Saturday.
How hard is it, Coach, to hit all cylinders every game, week in and week out, throughout the course of a season?
It's a great question, and that's why you have to play great defense to win championships. I can't tell you how many times I put the ball down the 5-yard line with my guys and go 11-0 on air. We're going to execute 20 perfect plays and give ourselves 5 yards per play. And when we're done, we score. And we've been out there for 30 to 40 minutes before, so we can't get it done in 40 plays with nobody covering us whatsoever. We have trouble scoring at times. So that's why you have to be great on defense. You have to cover punts and punt the ball well, cover kicks and cover kicks well, which was another thing. We didn't cover a kick worth a hoot one time. Gave our defense a terrible position to have to stop somebody. So our defense bailed us out. But that's what team football is, the triangle of toughness. We talk about it all the time. But there's a reason, Jason, we always start with our defense first in that triangle.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I mean, you go home, you look at that film, you think about the game, and, I don't know, you as a coach, you scratch your head and go, man, but we're 10-0. I mean, like you said, no such thing from a coaching standpoint as an ugly win. Might not have been as pretty as some of the others, but at the end of the day, you guys are 10-0, and you're setting yourself up for this weekend with UAB that, while you guys haven't done it, but some of us that have broken culture pillars, we've looked ahead to this game, and now this game week is finally here. What do you do this week to prepare for UAB?
Well, they're really good to start with. I mean, Bill's done a fantastic job. They're statistically top 25 in every single category on defense. They run the ball very well. Their naked game off of their play action pass is fantastic. Their deep shots down the field. He recruits very well. He knows every coach in Alabama. He gets a ton of great players out of that state. You heard me say it after the game. To be the champ, you got to beat the champs. And they've won our side of the league 3 times and won the whole league 2 out of the last 3 times. So those kids know how to do it. The hardest thing ever in a championship is winning the first one. Once you win the first one, the kids kind of expect it. We know UAB expects to win. We've got to get our kids to feel the same way Saturday.
Well, and again, Coach, and go with me here. I look at the Dallas Cowboys last week just got blown out by the Denver Broncos. They didn't play good. They came back yesterday. They beat the Atlanta Falcons and beat them handily. Mike McCarthy is on our station every week with Rob and Rudy in the morning on R&R. And this is what he told them last Friday going into the Atlanta game.
No, I mean, it's something you're always looking at the pulse of your football team. Frankly, I have a really cool video about don't take the cheese, and it has some humor to it.
Yeah. Now, did he get the video from you, or did you get it from him, or is there like a coaching video vault where you can pull this kind of motivation type of messaging out with video? Apparently.
No, it wasn't for me. But we did it. I've done it throughout the years, many different times. So this particular team has kind of taken it and ran with it for the entire season. But last year we just did it after the Texas State game with some rat traps, right?
Yep.
But our senior leadership, they felt like this was going to be a big deal this year, and it was kind of their idea, and I just ran with it. And I'll give the credit to my single-digit guys in my leadership council.
Well, I'll tell you, I know you're not the first coach to say eat the cheese, but every time I hear it now, I'm associating that with UTSA and with Jeff Traylor. And, hearing Mike McCarthy talking about it last week with the video, which sounds like the same video you told me about weeks and weeks ago. After they lost to Denver, he called this last week Red Ass Week, and he gave everybody a can of anti-monkey butt powder. And that was kind of their theme of the week this week leading into the Atlanta game. So this week you got the win. Maybe not as pretty as we would have liked. You got some stuff to clean up. What's the theme this week?
Let's just make sure whenever you play a big game like this, the common mistake is people try to do too much. And we just got to make sure we do the ordinary, extraordinary. And I know that sounds very simple, but it's very complicated in a game this large with this magnitude that we just don't try to do too much. Let's block. Let's tackle. Let's take care of the football. Let's play smart and not be a very penalized football team. If we do that, we've got enough talent on our team. We'll be just fine. If we don't, usually great teams beat you when you don't perform well fundamentally.
30,000 in the dome for the Southern Miss game. And the great part about the way that game played out is they were all there at the end to finish that game off. And for 30,000, it was loud in the Alamo Dome. Do you have an expectation for this week's game against UAB?
I've already come up with another triangle example here. SOSA always shows up. The student section always shows up. And this week, the city of San Antonio showed up. So we've got our own triangle within the triangle now. I don't even know what that's called. I mean, I'm sure there's some fancy term in geometry that I missed out on in 1983 at Gilmer High School. But, I know Ron and that band will be rocking. The student section will be rocking. And however many are there, I told Jordan this morning, my son who coached for the Saints, it was as much like a Superdome feeling watching the Saints play as I've experienced as I've been the head coach at UTSA.
Man, that is incredible. Now, I do have a suggestion to pass along. Speaking of the triangle, there's times where the guys go over and they're banging on the triangle. A student there at UTSA, a kid named Austin Donnelly that I've known all his life, he said to me at the game, I wish they would mic that triangle up. So when the players go over there and they start banging on that triangle, that it's microphoned up so that sound is all over the dome. How do we get a microphone on that triangle?
That's a great idea. There's also an alum that comes to my radio show that's an architect, and he promises me by this UAB game he's going to have like a super version of the triangle toughness ready for this game. So it'll be interesting to see how far this tradition grows. I like that idea, Jason. That's a fantastic idea. We'll see what the Alamo Dome can do to make that happen maybe Saturday. I just hope we get to ring it some. We didn't get to ring it till the last quarter this week. I was getting to one where we went to ring that sucker.
No, but when they were ringing it, and that's when Austin said it to me, he's like, man, I wish they would mic that thing up. And he was a part of the band for many years. I think he's aged out of it at this point. But you look at it, and I think, man, that'd be a great idea. I said, I'll bring that up to Coach Traylor. If he likes it, maybe it will happen. I just want to make sure I give the kid proper credit. I wish it were my idea.
I like it. I've never had an original idea in my life, Jason. I've stolen every one of mine. So I understand you. I appreciate you giving him the respect there.
Spoken like a true radio guy. You hear an idea, steal it because somebody else did.
No doubt.
Good deal. Coach, can't wait to be in the Dome again this Saturday, UAB. It's an incredible ride. Enjoy the week. I know you're going to pass out food again every week because we don't change up what's been working. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you so much, Jason. Appreciate you giving us some time. God bless and birds up.
God bless and birds up for sure.